What's going on, guys? It's Troydan here. And today, we've got the 10 most shocking WWE man versus women moments. Yeah, I watched wrestling in the 90s and some of the zeros, and if you watched wrestling in that time, you know how crazy it was. Pretty sure I saw Stacy Keibler in situations that I won't tell you. First time watching it, let's go. Is that Lita? Dude, I saw
subscribe
something.
to the channel and turn on those notifications. And once you're done, leave a comment down below and I just might end up responding. Barring Lucha Underground, you really don't see man-on-woman action in the WWE that isn't overly sexualized. And hey, now that Lucha Underground's pretty much definitely done for, you really aren't going to see that shit anymore. While WWE's women divisions have been vastly different to each other over the years, the general consensus seemed to be the same. It's not exactly a bueno idea to mix the men and the women. Although, for probably obvious reasons, the Attitude Era loosened those reins on that just
Hold on, I'm just going to pause one time
yeah.
just to say this. I just remembered. I saw an 80-year-old woman get thrown off the goddamn stage. It was Devon Dudley, was it? It was one of the Dudley boys, dude. I just remembered that. Mae Young.
Come to think of it, expect mostly Attitude Era. I'm D. Wicket, and these are 10 of the most shocking man versus women moments in WWE history. Number 10, an angle slam to Chyna. Expect mostly Attitude... sorry. Also, if we didn't stretch out this research as much as possible, this could have easily been a mostly Chyna list, to be honest, considering she's pretty much the only female in WWE history to have the trait of openly just beating up any and all men in her path.
True.
Aside from Nia Jax for like 3 weeks. Yeah, she's pretty easy to shoe into any of these lists. Instead of a whole bunch of Chyna, however, how about a variety hour that features her getting angle slammed by the Olympic hero? Because you know what? I think I could do for one of those.
This is nothing, dude. I didn't laugh. But that's...
Number 9, Rousey puts H through a table. Here's an example that just feels very WWE. I don't know how to explain it, but there's almost a few different categories these moments are going to fall into, and one of them is the classic, hey guys, women really can do it all, PR-esque feeling moment, and round to putting the big bad game through the table prior to the WrestleMania intergender tag team encounter definitely is going to edge its way onto that list. Now, she's Ronda pissing Rousey. Obviously, we can believe that she would be able to do this because, I mean, watch the clip. It doesn't even look like Triple H had to help her do the move, but you get the idea.
Of course she can. It's not... There's going to be some wilder stuff, but this is... I saw some wilder stuff, boys. I'm just telling you right now.
Number 8, Becky Lynch versus John Cena. Here's another good WWE-esque moment. Again, I'm not exactly sure how to explain the phenomenon, but putting the man over the literal man of the company for the last 15 years or so and letting her "you can't see me" to the champ, it just screams WWE. It's not necessarily a bad thing either. I like this moment a good bit more than the Rousey one I just talked about. Maybe
this
though.
Is 10 most shocking WWE man versus women moments. So far, I'm not shocked at either.
Just because I give a shit about Becky Lynch and Cena's a far more interesting opponent than H. Maybe that's just me. This happened on January 1st, 2019.
I saw an 80-year-old woman go through a table.
Starting out the year by pitting the two most popular acts of each gender and very clearly showing us which one was going over.
I saw Trish Stratus bark like a dog. Is this not in this compilation? Oh, look at that. John Cena looks so weird with hair.
Number 7, Kane tombstones.
There we go.
Linda. Man versus woman moments in themselves are just naturally kind of shocking. A lot of people think men fighting women isn't fair, but in reality, there's all sorts of domestic violence going both ways in the world, and in general, people tend to prefer the sexes just fight each other. Again, unless you're Lucha Underground and you don't give an Angelico's flying fuck. Despite this, WWE still love trying to do everything they can to make a moment as shocking as possible when that's their goal. Enter the Big Red Machine with a big bloody red mask and the company owner's wife.
God.
I wonder if they'll discuss politics over tea.
Vince.
Wait, both of these two ended up being legitimate politicians.
That's kind of funny.
And it all started here. Now, isn't that poetic?
Lynn is known for taking the worst Stone Cold Stunner ever. Oh my gosh.
Number 6, DDP attacks Sara Taker.
Oh.
Sara Taker, sure. While a man and a woman fighting will
this.
usually spark
This
at least
was
a little bit
creepy.
of controversy, think of all the possibilities when you open it up each time. Think about it. Seriously, think about it. Two entirely different and diverse rosters of pro wrestlers who could have any and all sorts of in-ring chemistry and do creative storylines and do literally anything you can think of. Man and women, anything. Pro wrestling it's just storytelling with a choreographed mask, and yet sometimes the choreography is shit. DDP versus The Undertaker is a good example of woman being introduced into a man storyline. It's just a
That whole
zero
gimmick was
success
terrible for
and
DDP.
almost no redeeming
brought him
qualities.
in as a stalker.
DDP's Diamond Cutter looked fine, but did he, after this angle?
Jesus. You like feet.
Number 5, Chyna's borderline sexual assault. DDP and Sarah Taker's moment was bad,
Yo,
not
look at
because
the
of them,
quads
but
on
because of the
Chyna.
creative surrounding it. Chyna basically being sexually assaulted by two old dudes in the
remember
ring
this.
is a bit harder of a pill to swallow. I mean, I'm sure she was fine with it, and considering the match was dudes pat Chyna on the ass before grabbing at her tits. For context, though, of the Attitude Era, this took place on the same Raw where Vince and Rock called Kane a little retarded,
What?
and Mark Henry threw up after realizing he had a sexual encounter with a transsexual. So,
Was that
I mean, at least it fits the
before or
theme.
after they gave birth to the hand? What is this? Whoa, I haven't seen this.
Look at this. It's ridiculous.
What?
Number 4,
What is that?
Trish beats up Vince. Trish is on top, and she's
What?
giving it to Vince. That is a real call.
Oh, here we go.
from
Here's the
Jim
bad
Ross,
stuff.
the greatest commentator we've ever had. For real, though, this is a pretty great little feel-good moment. Trish Stratus, similar to Chyna, honestly could have filled out this entire list on her own, too. From being beaten by chairs with Lita because of Vince to being forced to strip down by Mr. McMahon himself.
Yeah, don't show that
While
one.
Trish has done a lot with the boys and clearly has a lot of frustrations to let loose, particularly ones about Vinnie Mac. Good thing she teamed up with The Rock to take on Vince and Kurt Angle. That's not how intergender matches work, but the Attitude Era doesn't give a shit. And holy hell, did she beat the shit out of that old bastard.
Oh, right to the gonads. No, I'm pretty sure, I'm exactly sure that Vince McMahon
Number 3, a
some
one-armed
wild
Cena.
stuff
So,
with some of these ladies.
sometimes we'll get to these classic little WWE tropes, so especially from the Diva
Steph?
era, mind you, that shows off just how pathetic a woman must really be in a crisis. Obviously, that's not true, but Jesus, if you watch WWE in the latter 2000s, and especially the first half of the 2010s, if you were a kid, you'd probably think that girls just blew away in the goddamn wind. Umaga just utterly destroying Maria was a pretty solid example, but I think taking one of John
3
Cena's
seconds.
arms, tying it behind his back, and still having him dominate Lita, one of the greatest women's wrestlers of an entire generation, in about 22 seconds, that's pretty fucking rough, dude.
I mean, wait, is Cena a heel?
I mean, hey, at least she got her
I don't
comeuppance
understand that
when
match.
Edge, Booker T, Finlay, William Regal, and noticeably not Lita all murdered the dude after the match. Cool.
Oh my God!
What is that? Whose foot's that? Is that Ahmed Johnson?
Humiliating.
Whose
for John
foot?
Cena.
Whose foot
Number
was
2, Bubba Ray Dudley.
Oh, here we
I
go.
mean, really, he in and of himself is kind of a shocking man versus woman moment, since at least 1/8 of his character is just destroying every woman he
Yeah,
sets
this
his
was
eyes on. He goes
pretty
into a
normalized
trance
in the 90s,
by
zeros,
murdering
early zeros.
women. Dixie Carter got some in a slightly more satisfying TNA moment, but the craziest always lasts, especially when WWE really
Oof.
just wants some straight up insanity. For our car crash television entry, we got Devon taking Mark Henry on in a match while Bubba goes to the back, finds Mae Young since, the whole Mark Henry hand thing happened. He brings her out to the ring. They finish off Henry with the 3D. They take Mae Young up the ramp.
Here it
set her
is. That's what I'm
down.
talking about.
Devon picks
Look
her
at
up,
this.
and I swear
This
to
is
God,
the craziest thing I've
Bubba
ever
Ray
seen in-
started his bully
in WWE.
character in 2000
WWF.
because he grabs her out of Devon's hands, spins around, and power bombs her straight off
not
the
showing it?
stage,
You're not showing
straight
it?
into a table. What the hell am I watching?
Oh, here we go. I thought you could show it. Yo, Mae Young was all about that life, dude. She wanted to do that.
And number 1, Christopher Jericho and Christian versus Trish Stratus and Lita. Why am I snapping? I've gone over all sorts of shocking moments here. Horrifying ones, insane ones, end of romance ones, and even dominance over women ones. Who could forget? And with all sorts of other moments I didn't retread, such as, Stephanie versus Brock, or Stephanie versus her own father in an I Quit match, the question really has to be asked. Has there ever been a good man versus woman match, let alone moment? Well, yes. Obviously, there's been good moments, but match, there's been Chris Jericho versus Chyna on multiple occasions, but everyone already knows about that one. And aside from that, kind of hard to think of one without stretching over to Lucha Underground. But nah, my number one is this entry's titular match, Jericho and Christian against Stratus and Lita. And yes, it is making this list 100% for just being a good man versus woman match. I am so shocked that this actually happened in a tag team match too. WWE's historically not very big on the tag team wrestling, so seeing this is by far the most shocking man versus woman moment ever. It has to be. It was solid action and an even better storyline involving Jericho and Bischoff. This one is actually worth the YouTube search.
All right.
And I'm going to go ahead and recommend it to you.
Christian, Lita's raking the eyes.
I remember that backdrop on Raw.
And those are 10
done?
shocking man versus woman
Okay, all
moments.
right,
What are
we're
your
done. We'll
thoughts?
stop.
No,
I don't agree with this list at all. Maybe there's some reasons why they're not in here. Maybe I'm not understanding it. Most shocking man versus women moments, because I guess some of the moments I'm thinking of really weren't matches. There was a part of that I believe happened in the WWEF where Lita was in bed with another man. And that's all I'm going to say. There was a lot of bad stuff. I think Stone Cold Steve Austin stunned like half the female roster at one point to a huge crowd ovation. Different times. Guys, you got a video you'd like me to watch or react to? You can tweet me at Troydan under the hashtag TroydanReacts. Thank you for watching, kids. Is that Snoop Dogg?